All right, so let's start with the big story that we are tracking on Fineprint tonight, and this is a flare-up that few would have expected. Remember, there is an issue of Baluchistan between Iran and Pakistan, but what has happened in the last 72 hours will in fact give you a glimpse of where things are now headed. Now, at this moment, remember, Pakistan is under attack by neighbours Iran and Afghanistan, even though both are Islamic nations. Pakistan and Afghanistan are Sunni majority, while Iran is a Shia majority nation. On Wednesday, Pakistan carried out retaliatory strikes in Sistan, Baluchistan province, which resulted in the killings of 9 people, including 4 children. Now, Islamabad says that it used killer drones and rockets to strike Baloch militants inside of Iran.
Based on information we received, 4 children, 3 women and 2 men who were non-Iranian citizens were killed in an explosion that occurred in a village 3 to 4 kilometers from the border of Iran.
Now, Pakistan's retaliatory strike was in response to the Iranian missile and drone strikes on certain places where the Iranians claimed that they were striking the Jaish al-Adl group, which happens to be a Sunni Baloch separatist outfit. Now, the missile and drone attacks hit Jaish al-Adl bases in the town of Panjgur in Pakistan's Baluchistan province. Now, the attack killed 2 children and also prompted strong condemnation from Islamabad. Now, the area along the 900-kilometer border that Pakistan and Iran share is a bit of a hotbed of drug trafficking and also separatism. Baloch separatism is what has created an insurgency of sorts in this particular region. The Baluchistan region stretches across both nations, and over the years, Balochi separatists have in fact made the situation worse. According to the Director of National Intelligence based in the United States, now, certain groups are involved in ambushes, assassinations, assaults, hit-and-run raids, kidnappings of civilians and also government officials in Iran since 2013. Now, moving on to the Pakistan-Afghanistan equation. Back in 2021, Pakistan's then Prime Minister had hailed the American exit as the Afghans who had broken the shackles of slavery when the Taliban, remember, had stormed to power in neighbouring Afghanistan. Pakistan has historically backed the Taliban, but its present-day relationship with the Taliban is in complete ruins. The accusations of Taliban supporting the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, which happens to be an anti-Pakistani terror outfit, have strained the ties. Other friction points include Pakistan's deportation of Afghan refugees and also the visa restrictions that have been imposed on Afghan transportation services. Lastly, the India-Pakistan relationship. The conflict between India and Pakistan arose out of the 1947 partition of British India, the undivided India that established Pakistan and India as 2 successor states. Now, almost 5 years ago in 2019, India revoked the special status of Jammu and Kashmir. Pakistan, which of course, remember, has no locus standi whatsoever on Jammu and Kashmir, which is a part of sovereign integral territory of India, had called this decision as unilateral. India has repeatedly criticized Pakistan for harboring terror outfits and for promoting cross-border terrorism. India has even raised its concerns at various global forums and has isolated Pakistan globally on the issue of cross-border terrorism which emanates from Pakistan. Now, Iran's attack in Baluchistan has escalated into another serious crisis for Pakistan. While Iran has previously engaged with certain outfits along the border regions, its recent missile and drone attacks mark a novel and aggressive approach in their confrontation. More perspective in terms of what is happening at this moment between Pakistan and Iran. We're being joined by retired Captain Alok Bansal, who is the director at India Foundation and is also a naval expert. He's joining us live on this broadcast in New Delhi. Now, Captain Bansal, this is a moment that few people would have expected between Pakistan and Iran. What has happened in the last 72 hours clearly points to a serious escalation. Do you expect this to flare up further?
See, there is no doubt that it's a serious escalation, although Iran has in the past carried out several operations inside Pakistani territories. There have been firings, there have been certain incursions and attacks against so-called terrorist outfits. But this scale of operations using missiles and killing certain citizens was never done. And in fact, Pakistani retaliation has also been quite severe, and this has actually aggravated the situation. Though personally at this point of time, both the countries do not have any valid reasons for aggravating the situation because both are in a tight corner. Iran has already fired missiles against Iraq, Syria, and the Pakistan was the third one, and it is being criticized for these offensives. Iran probably had to show to its domestic audience that after the terrorist attack in Kerman, they had to act. On the other hand, Pakistan is facing a serious economic crisis, and the day the strikes happened, you saw the Pakistan Stock Exchange actually tank, and then of course it did recover a part of its losses, but Pakistan's economy will be affected badly.
Right.
The plus point at this point with Pakistan is that it doesn't have an elected government. So we have a caretaker government who is not accountable to anyone except to probably to armed forces, which probably at this point of time wanted to show to the domestic audience that they are capable of responding. And I think this response which we've seen from Pakistan, which Iran claims killed 3 women, 2 men and 4 children, is primarily to reinforce Pakistan armed forces image amongst the Pakistani public, where the armed forces are facing a lot of criticism for their interference into the politics of the state, where they are actually interfering and not allowing a free and fair elections.
Right.
They're preventing Imran Khan from coming out of jail. They're not allowing his party to contest as a valid political party with a single electoral symbol. And I think all these things, this attack on Iran probably diverts attention and tries to reinforce the image of Pakistan army as a macho force which can react to an attack from a Western neighbor.
Captain Bansal, this is a difficult moment for Pakistan. Elections are, of course, due in Pakistan. Pakistan is facing challenges from the Afghan border as well, where the TTP, which has pledged allegiance to Afghan Taliban, they want to destroy the Pakistani state as it exists at this moment. How much of a concern is Baloch separatism and Baloch insurgency to Pakistan?
See, Baloch insurgency is a very serious offense. We need to understand that Baloch have never accepted Baluchistan as a part of Pakistan. Right from 1948, when the Prince Karim, who was the brother of the ruler of Kalat, which was the principal Baloch state, had rebelled. Since then, Baloch have been rebelling from time to time. In 50s they did, 60s there was another insurgency, 70s again there was an insurgency, and now we have seen a consistent nationalist movement from 2004 onwards, which has been gaining traction. Baluchistan, we need to understand, is almost 43% of Pakistan's landmass.
Absolutely.
But it is inhabited by less than 5% of its population. So it's a very sparsely populated region, extremely dry, extremely arid. You have long lines of communications, and Baloch have been targeting these. But we must also understand that Baloch do not have the numbers to actually break free from Pakistan.
Right.
So they have been waging a war against Pakistani state for a long time. Unfortunately, they have not been getting the sort of international support which they anticipated, because Baloch territory not only encompasses Pakistan but also is in Iran. And a sovereign Baluchistan affects both Pakistan and Iran. And consequently, in 70s, we saw that the Baloch insurgency in Pakistan was crushed with the active help of Iranian armed forces. Now, in this particular conflict between Pakistan and Iran, there is a different angle, and that we need to understand. That of all the Baloch groups that are operating, there is only one group which is religious in orientation. All other Baloch nationalist groups are left-leaning secularists.
Right.
But there is a group which used to be called earlier Jundullah and now it's called Jaish al-Adl. It's actually a Sunni terrorist outfit, and which has been targeting in Iran. and it is driven not by Baloch nationalism but by a Sunni sectarianism.
Right.
And I think Iran claimed that their attack against targets in Baluchistan was against Jaish al-Adl.
I think that's a crucial point that you've raised, but we've completely run out of time. Thank you very much indeed, Captain Mansell, for joining us and getting us that perspective. This is, of course, an issue that we'll continue to track on WION. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.